I was just sitting here thinking about my lamb. She said, you're not, it was a good message though. She said, you're not very confrontational. And I wouldn't say that. I would say I'm in a position where they made sure that I better not be confrontational or they gonna get me locked up. But I learned something in this situation though. I would not say that I'm not confrontational. I would definitely say I might not be that good at it. But and I played too many leader positions to not be confrontational. You can't be confrontational with a family of narcissists. You're going to jail. The neighborhood watch people gonna see to it that you go to jail. But I learned something in this situation. When God got it, let God have it. Every time I jumped in, every time, even when I poured my heart into it, even when I thought I did a great job, God would tell me, let me. Please let me. See, we get in God. Who can do it better than God? We want to help God. In my case, in this situation, now that I know, knowing for a fact that God is with me, the main thing I've been wanting to do is help God. But I'm going to be real with y'all. I ain't really been doing, I know I did a great job, a good job at least. But I'm going to be real with y'all. I got in the way a lot. My mouth, I got in the way, not like y'all would say my mouth got in the way. I got in the way because God want me to speak. He always want me to talk. He always want me to do this. This is part of the duty. But he want me to speak so he can work on, he want me to vent. He want me to lash out. He wanted me to lash out. He wanted me to vent, especially at the beginning of this. But I realized he didn't really want me to do it. He didn't really want me to do it because I don't know why he really wanted me to do it, but I felt like he didn't really want me to do it because of what I might say and how I might say it. He wanted to hear my heart. And when God listened to your heart, it was time that I was loud. Not really enraged, but loud. And it was times I was enraged. And sometimes my rage got was better than my calm voice. Like what I said throughout my rage, it was more understanding. It was like, by the time God got done with me, I didn't understand. I couldn't understand the heavens and the way they work at all. But I knew, I ain't talking about profanity and all that. I ain't talking about getting in your feelings. It was like the emotional part of it is a gift. I didn't notice that, the emotional part when you loud sometimes, not like loud fight. It's just hard to explain. But it's like thunder, basically. That's a gift. But it's how you use it, bro. And then it's like what you say, where is it coming from? It was like basically God was filtering me. It's hard to explain this, y'all. Basically God was filtering me. He wanted me to speak. He wanted me to say this stuff. He wanted me to do this. He wanted me to express myself, show my emotion, because I had to let it out. And I was in the perfect place to do it because they had me trapped right here. I couldn't move. So it was like that kid on that commercial. I love that commercial where he got this white thing on his head and he throwing his head against the wall. It was about like that right there. But I realized something, man. When God got it and you know God got it, you ain't gotta be confrontational or nothing. You really need to, if you want to, you can sit down. As long as you're praying and you're meditating, people gonna say things and they gonna definitely dress you up like, oh, he deals or she deals and they deal. But if you know for a fact, God, if you don't walk into I done show people how to get into their higher self. When you don't walk into your higher self and you give it to God, trust me, it's better to get out of his way if he lets you. Like in my case, he wanted me to come in and do stuff sometimes, but I'm gonna be real with y'all. A lot of time I detour. the situation, this whole matter. I felt like, and when you detour with God, I asked God about it. He said, I'll make you run around the world before we get back to where we was. I'm telling you, there ain't no telling how many times I ran around the world in here, trying to deal with these lectures and trying to walk this path with God. So it's like, like I said, we gotta understand when people say give it to God, let God do it. Well, it's a way you gotta, like Pop said, ever since you supplied your phone number, I can't help but call. You gotta know how to give it to God. That's the thing. And maybe people can do it through just praying, but I had to figure out another way to give it to God, and I did. And for me, it's a structure. It's I physically gotta do stuff. But once I walk in it, cause I'm going to my higher self. Once I walk in it, it don't matter what you put me through. It don't matter what's going on. It don't matter what I done been through. It don't matter what mountain against me. Once I walk that path, which take me no more than really, these days, it take me about 3 days. It take me no longer than a week. I can get into my higher self, depending on where I'm at. All right, let's say somebody say, I want you to do something for us, like some kind of stand-up something, Friday, and it's Monday. By the time Friday get here, if everything good on Monday, by the time Friday get here, I've been walked into my higher self. How many people you know can say that for a fact? I want to tell you 3 days I can walk into my higher self. Once I go into my higher self, I know how to stay in my higher self. Once I go into my higher self, I know how to stay in my higher self. Once I get there, it's over. So in this situation, I had to be in my higher self more than my human self, more than my normal self. A lot more than I ever have in my life. And I'm telling y'all, I detoured myself because God already working on it. There's things I didn't show. I still delete videos. I'm glad I do. It's evidence that God showed me that I can show the world if they would let me, but it'll be messed up in so many different ways. It'll be messed up for the people who probably possibly investigating this situation. It'll be messed up for the spiritual realm who investigate and deal with this situation. It'll be messed up for the spiritual courts, the physical courts, and I shouldn't be. So I hold back a lot. I hold back a lot, and I'm talking about information, names, whereabouts, where this place located, that place located. I'm talking about detail, baby. And when you get in that kind of information, you better sit down. I tried to. You can't be confrontational. When you gave it to God, you gotta really give it to God. When you give it to God, I tried being confrontational. Now I ain't saying this to talk bad. She did a great video. The video was great. But I'm just explaining this part because I'm explaining it from a point of view of somebody who done basically been kidnapped and rights done been wrongfully took it from them. I'm explaining it from that side. Somebody who done been unalived, somebody who done been sacrificed, somebody who done been destiny swaps, thrown in the short tank, somebody who done had all this done to them basically overnight. When you put somebody under that, you talking about cameras on you, satellites on you. You talking about they probably went to them people that they call the kids when somebody do something wrong to people, kids. Them people automatically put these satellites on you to watch you around. Like let's say I've been to prison for rape or child molestation. They watch you with this satellite, all that. They put all that on me as if I was this monster. And they've been on me hard for 10 years just about. But I only claim 5 of them. And just imagine being under that kind of scope with somebody that absolutely took your life away from you. Took your freedom away from you, took your rights away from you, and all they do is laugh about it. Like right now, y'all 16 and 11, y'all probably finna get this video that's gonna go over to some bar in some form. I don't think they're doing that no more. I think that's fading away. But just imagine you putting in all this work and it's going to somebody else's house. It's going to somebody else's. And they're gonna make you look like a fool. You scared, you slow. I ain't never been to no Psyche Award, whatever they call that place. I don't even know the name of it. The one I did go to was called Avita. But let me tell you something. My ex don't know. Let me tell you, I'll tell you this one thing. One of my exes either worked at that thing temporarily or knew somebody that worked there. One of her lovers was actually a patient there. They swapped my documents. I ain't never been to no place like that. They swapped my documents out with that person and made it look like I done been there. They made me go there for one day because of an incident with the police department because of a battery charge. And that was it. And I had to go there that day to let the counselor talk to me. And the counselor had to sign in 24 hours I crazy now. That was it. And she told me if I'm crazy, she crazy. Basically. I wish I could remember her name. She was like, if you crazy, I'm crazy. You can go home or you can stay with us and give you some sleeping pills so you can get some rest. That was it. That was it. She said, you can leave though. Ain't no reason for us to hold you in. So like one day out of my whole life, I'm 40 years old, out of everything I've been through. I ain't never in my life, I worked my whole life, I ain't never got no welfare. I've been on my grind since I was 9. So it's like, all these documents, it's like people done swap with my life. People, and that same girl that they swapped my documents with, I don't know if it was her. They swapped my documents with a woman somehow. But when that same girl they swapped my documents with, or somebody else that they swapped my documents with, this person was disease infested, and they swapped my medical documents out with that person. So I've been having to go through all this and that, and then they swapped my identity out with this person, and that person was a homosexual. So imagine going through that for a whole 10 years and you ain't none of these things. And then it was somebody who went to prison for child molestation and they swapped my documents out with that person. Somebody absolutely went above and beyond with the hell itself and talked to Satan and shook Satan's hand so hard, Satan started shaking. His feet came off the ground. When you shake somebody like a cartoon character, when they shake somebody's hand and they go up and Satan's jaws started shaking. Somebody was excited about just tearing me apart, and I don't even know these people like that. I have no clue who these people are like that. Not like that. So, but anyway, I just realized, so when I got hit with all that, before I decided to give it to God, because I'm already knowing how to give it to God because I've been doing it in the street, but I typically hate to do this because I got to go through this format that I created for myself that I learned from Jesus to get to my higher self. So I'm hoping that I ain't got to do this. I normally don't even do that until I'm finna face a mountain. But I didn't know they called that situation in tune till now. Well, I fought it for myself before I went to God, and immediately I went to jail 3 times in a row. Immediately. I'm talking about my ex-wife was so crooked and grimy. She told me, come down such and such. Come down such and such. You want to see your son? And somebody, I was on my way down there. I said, I'm finna go see my son. Somebody said, man, they got the cops waiting down there, boy. You go down there. That girl gonna call the cops on you. And you can't go to jail no more. I said, man, and she the reason that I went to jail the other 2 times. And then when I went to jail, Somebody in the jail cell sat right beside me and said, your lover, your ex, told me she'll give me $350 to beat your ass in here. I said, you could try it and see. Sat right beside me. I said, you could try it and see. And my cousin Jeremy was in there with me. And Jeremy, he looked at Jeremy. Jeremy was pretty popular in the jail at the time. And go look him up, he in prison now. And we was in jail together though, the last 5 to 4 years. My cousin Jeremy. And he said, you can't miss him. And when you see the energy of Jeremy, you gonna notice, okay, this is the group of people he hang with. Jeremy, he looked just like a pretty boy, hazel eyes and all that stuff. You gonna see him. And Jeremy was like, but he real though, and he a hell of a fighter. And so me and Jeremy know each other from, he my cousin for one, but we know each other background a little bit. So we was in there talking about old fighting stuff back in the day, when we was back in our day. And Jeremy was like, the dude looked at Jeremy and said, you know this guy? And Jeremy said, that's a little pit bull, you grab him you want to. That's what Jeremy told him. He said, that's a little pit bull, you grab him you want to. I did, I'm serious. I got the proof. I ain't gotta have pictures or none of that. You can go look these people up. And we was at Cornwall County Jail together. Not even 2 years, 3 years ago. And when I went in there, the judge told me, she said, you done came to jail. I didn't know it was working like that. She said, we done locked you up 3 times in a row in less than 2 years. She said, you come back, we're gonna send you to prison. And when I got out, I talked to somebody about it, and they said that was a setup anyway. That they gonna, if you go back, they're gonna send you to prison. You ain't gonna get out of prison. That's what they said. And these encounters that sent me to jail in the first place was happening in my yard. These were people coming into my private space bothering me. So it didn't even get confrontational. It didn't even get, to me, it was just well, it got confrontational, but it didn't even get physical. But they were locking me up for batteries. So I might grab somebody and bring them close to them. You know what I'm saying? Grab them by their collar of their shirt and bring them close to them and let them know, hey, you know what I'm saying? This ain't what you want. And then, you know, push them off. Oh, I'm finna go to jail. And that judge got me out that last time, and she said, that's when she told me. What that judge told me, she told me a lot. She told me a lot about this land and all this stuff. And she wasn't from this county, so she could tell me. She said, I can't have nothing to do with it, and I can't help you though. She said, but you being set up and you come back, we're gonna have to send you straight to prison. And basically she was just telling me, you know, long story short, she was like, you got neighborhood watch around you, everything. You do something in that yard, they're gonna call the law on you. That's why I don't deal with my neighbors and stuff. Because I know if you gang stalking me, you part of the neighborhood watch squad. I just know all this stuff. It's nothing to conversate with. It's nothing to have a confrontation with. I had to conversate with myself out loud and let them know they hear me. And you come in this yard. I was trying to push buttons to get them to come in this yard. But over time, it turned into something else. And God liked it, and it turned into lectures, and it turned into something that was actually helping people. But I was actually trying to push buttons in another way to make these suckers come in the yard. 1911, that was my main goal. But it went from trying to get these cats to fight to here we are on social media and stuff like that. But anyway, like I said, that was a long story, but what I'm trying to say is I learned in this situation, when I found out that I was entombed, I still didn't know they called it entombed. But when I realized these mountains was against me, that's how I said it in the street. When I realized these mountains was against me, I walked into my higher self. And when I realized how long I had it, I stay into my higher self for 2 years. This is the longest I ever had to be in my higher self. So After I got in my higher self this long, I've been in it this long, I realized something. All we doing is getting in God's way. Once you don't walk into your higher self, that's what it means when they say pray about it, really. You got to walk into your high. For me, that's what it means. When they say give it to God, pray about it. If it's something serious, say you go to somebody, I need help, this, that, oh, I need somebody help. Pray to God, give it to God, pray about it. Well, let me tell you something. One thing you better do, I can't tell you that, I can't explain to you how to get into your higher self. And because that's my thing. But if God tell me, I will one day. But right now, that's just my thing. But I tell you one thing you better do. If you're in a bad situation and you praying and somebody, and if I told you to pray and give it to God, I'm telling you to put down all your sins, get away from them people that you sinning with, get away from your lovers that you sinning with, get away from sin altogether, and then pray and give it to God and meditate and do it before and after, and stay in that mode to the point where you get pissed off because you by yourself, sad and lonely and depressed and crying and weeping because you by yourself, and you done healed from the crying and weeping and pissed off mode, and you done passed over that hill, and you completely praying and you meditating just like Buddha itself, and you can care less if anybody come and help you. That's when you done gave it to God. And once you done gave it to God like that, you don't gotta do nothing. God gonna take care of everything from there, and you better bet your last dollar on it.